Good day and welcome to a different type of content for the Senior Scratch channel. This video is really a marriage of two of my favorite topics, golf performance and longevity. Many of the most prominent functional health doctors really say that exercise is far superior to any pill that pharmaceutical industries can stuff into your bodies. So I'm the first to admit that I really don't like going to the gym. I never did. I never did until my 50s, really. So I'd rather be sitting on the couch binge watching my favorite TV show, or even hitting balls into my simulator screen to try to perfect my swing. You know, at the gym, I really predominantly see 20-somethings that are gathering around, cheering each other to lift more weights. They really use it as a social hub. Sorry, kids. But for the last couple of years, in my 50s, I forced myself to spend 30 to 40 minutes 3 to 4 times a week in the gym, mostly for strength and mobility training. And here's why. I think this is most importantly an investment in my future. You know, similar to retirement savings, this is probably more important. Sarcopenia, or the loss of muscle mass as we age, accelerates the older we get. So I didn't realize that I didn't deposit enough in the muscle bank back in my 20s, 30s, and 40s, where it's easier to build muscle. Now that I'm in my 50s, really what I'm trying to do is maintain my what muscle mass I do have. So from the 40s and on, in decades, you lose roughly 8% of your muscle mass per decade. So why is muscle so important? Well, as it relates to life, I think about future grandkids or great-grandkids and being able to swing them around. Or maybe it's just simply being able to carry groceries or lift a piece of luggage into the overhead compartment, or open jars into my 80s and 90s. Now, I also see there's serious potential injuries from trips and falls that can happen without the appropriate strength and mobility. You know, in fact, last weekend I was stringing along some Christmas lights around my house, and there was a slippery patch of sloped ground, extremely hard ground, and I knew I was going to slip and fall. So I stuck on my arm and my wrist, tried to brace myself for the fall, and landed on my hip. Now, I know back in my 30s and 40s, I would probably had a wrist sprain, probably been out for months with back injuries. This time it was sore for a couple of days and I was back to normal. So there is something to be said for strength and mobility. Now, as it relates to golf, the golf swing is really a violent set of moves. It's not symmetrical, and we take thousands of swings over the course of a season. So by myself having the proper techniques that I'm learning through the kinesiology specialists at Titleist Performance Institute, I'm trying to incorporate those proper body movements with strength and conditioning, so it'll help me not only into the next golf season, but well into my future golf in the next few decades. So with all that being said, what I'm going to do is demonstrate some of the exercises on my most recent app that I'm using, which is the Jamie Greaves Golf Fitness app. He's arranged his gym workouts into 4-week phases, with each phase having 3 days of workouts. So I've just recently completed the first 2 phases, or the first 8 weeks of training. So I'm going to start phase 3 today, new set of exercises. So I figured it's a good opportunity to film it so I can look at the form myself, as well as share it with the other folks. And I will provide a link down in the notes to Jamie's fitness app. So to be clear, I'm not here to stress my limits in terms of how much weight I can do. I feel there's way too much risk of injury by doing too many weights for the amount that I'm going to gain. So I'm largely doing this just to maintain my muscle definition and try to stay in golf shape and life shape. So with that said, let's do some exercises. All right, these first set of exercises are just warm-ups. You know, I'm just trying to get my back, my arms, my neck, my shoulder, my lower body loose so that I can hopefully not get injured during the regular set of exercises. This first exercise is a standard cat-cow or cat-camel. This is where we really want to feel every vertebrae move here. Trying to keep my thighs parallel or sorry, perpendicular to the ground. Really slow and deliberate movements are best here. Next one, I'm just trying to get my hip flexors moving a little bit. Once again, trying to focus on a strong core and trying to keep that pelvis tilted up, as is the case for basically every of these exercises, as well as what I need to do during the golf swing. This exercise really gets into that hip. You're just trying to stay at right angles with everything. Keep that pelvis tilted up and rotate with the solid core. This really puts some strain on the quads, some stretch on the quads. Here I'm just doing some simple ankle rolls because I know every once in a while if I don't stretch out these ankles, roll them out a little bit, if they're tight, it's easy to get that nagging injury in your ankles where the golf swing is difficult if you can't use your ankles properly. Okay, so next I'm just gonna do some big shoulder circles, or arm circles, I guess, in both directions as I hear stuff go crack and pop. Now you kind of get into your golf posture in this one. This is really good for the backswing and trying to get the club at the right angle. Constantly work on this drill at home. And I just want to do some neck circles, both directions. Side to side motion. Now there's a couple of good golf style motions, so I'm just taking the normal golf stance. The first one, I'll just try to rotate my hips in both directions without moving my shoulders. I can really tell I'm very tight in my hips doing this. Guess that means it's good. Remember to keep that pelvis tilted up. And next I'm going to do the opposite, moving my shoulders and keeping my lower body stable. Just finishing up, I'm just going to do some more active lunges, trying to keep everything at 90 degrees, pelvis up. And then after this, hopefully, I've loosened everything up enough to start doing some weights. And then just do some of these reaches to finish off. Okay, warm up completed. Okay, this first one's called barbell jumps, and we'll do 3 of them. Just get it on the meaty part of the upper back. Remember to keep that pelvis up. Nice soft landing. Explode. All right, we'll rest and do it again. Okay, this next one is the high barbell squat. I've got 50 pounds of weights. The bar roughly weighs 44 pounds, so 94 pounds total. So what I'm trying to do here is keep my back as straight as possible, stick out my butt, and drive up from the ground, doing it in a controlled fashion. This is the half kneeling pull down. I'm trying to tuck my pelvis in and keep the line straight as possible, not flaring my elbow out. I've got roughly 70 pounds of weight that I'm using here. This is one where we're going to squeeze, and this is really getting into the golf posture and staying over that front leg. This one's a simple dumbbell incline curl. I'm only using 10 pounds in each hand, but it's still quite challenging just because of the angle of the incline. I'm finishing with the farmer carry, in which I have half of my body weight in each hand in a kettlebell form. I'm just walking up and down this strip here without hunching over or anything abnormal like that. If you listen to Dr. Peter Attia, he will say that this is the number one indicator for how you're going to function in your last decade of life in terms of being able to hold and carry things. Now I just do a simple cool down where I'm stretching my hamstrings and I stretch my quads and hip flexors. Here, this 90-90 exercise is really good for the hip flexors, and even trying to lift that the back leg really gets it crampy in the hip flexor. So I think that's a really good stretch to close things out. And there you have it. There's my 30 to 40 minute workout that I do to three to four times per week. It's not much, but it really is better than nothing, and I think it's really helping me in my fitness goals. See you next time on Seeing You to Scratch.